Hi everybody, welcome back to Bring Life Indoors. It's Moira here. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you're doing well and keeping warm. It's very cold. It might be bright and sunny outside, but trust me, it's cold. It's winter this side, so keep warm. Today, before I talk about today, I want to apologize for last week. I was not able to release the video last week. It was hectic. I tried and it didn't work out, and I made peace with it. But I'm glad that I'm able to do that today. I've got my scissors with me. I've got trailing plants that have grown very long and are touching the ground. Literally, they are on the floor. And I've been putting this off for the longest of time. I've been watching them grow and grow and grow. And even before they actually touched the floor, and I've been saying to myself, I need to trim these plants, or maybe see how I can have them trail, for them not to touch the ground, because I don't want them to touch them. I don't want them on the floor. We step on them. It's not good for them. I don't like that. We break them. I don't like that. Obviously not intentionally, but that's not what I want. I'll show you what I mean. So I've got a few of these around the house doing that I I say it like they're being silly or they're being naughty, but they've grown long, and I need to do something about it. There's many things you can do to solve this problem. Let me just show you. Got my scissors. I'm just gonna put my scissors down. That's an English ivy. You see what I mean? That is touching the floor. This one I chopped it a few months ago, and we are back there where we are growing again, but I'm not gonna chop it yet. It's not yet touching the floor, but this is string of dolphins. It was also touching the floor months ago, and I chopped it, and it's getting back there again. But I want to deal in this room. This is my daughter's room. I just want to deal with this English ivy. This is exactly what I mean. So yeah, there's many ways you can deal with this. You can either cut it and propagate it, which I love. I love propagating. It's one of my favorite things to do. If you look at my children's rooms, the plants I have in my kids' rooms, 90% of these plants is plants I propagated. I didn't go to the shop and buy plants for them. When they started getting into plants, they would show me a plant I have which they loved. And if I could propagate it for them, then I propagated it for them. Whether it was by dividing it or it was by cutting it, I propagated it for them. So 90% of these plants are propagated. There's only a few which they themselves, when I take them with me to a garden shop, they would buy a plant. There's only a few of them in here which they've bought for themselves, but all this is propagation. That beautiful heart-shaped leaf on the wall is a propagation. It was this tiny when I started. It was cuttings. It was this tiny when I started, and look how beautiful and lush it is. This is propagation. This is elephant ears. This is a propagation. It was just the one division. I mean, these you divide. It was just a little pup when I started, and look how big it is. This is they're all grown towards the sun. This is my peace lily. It's also a propagation. This was a division, obviously. I took a peace lily and I divided it, and look how beautiful. It was still a small pup. Those offshoots that comes around, I took them out and I put them individually into a pot. These are propagations. Even this one, this pilia, this is a propagation from my mother plant. So, and it's giving off babies also. Soon we're propagating those. All this is propagations. Even this is propagations to do this terrarium for them. So 90% of these plants are even this what do you call this? Let me show you. The lighting is very bright. This spider plant is propagation, and it's now giving me babies which I'm gonna propagate from. This golden pothos is propagation. This one was not a propagation. I bought this dolphins for them, and this ivy I bought it for them. But all these plants, 90% of these plants in here are propagation. You look up here. If you look up here, that fan, Ufenze bought it for herself, is not a propagation. This is a bridal veil which is in water, propagation. This is propagation. This is Monstera deliciosa, which is growing in water, propagation. This one, she bought it for herself. It's a palm. And this is a pulp, a peace lily pulp, propagation. More propagations in water. As you can see there on top there, it's another heart-shaped leaf on the wall, propagation. This is propagation, arrowhead plant. Amigo Marcelo, this is a propagation. This is a propagation, and it's doing so well and full, and and it's continued to giving me, it's just giving me new growth at the moment. That's all it's doing, growth after growth after growth. These big leaves, that's what I started with. Those tiny ones, those are new growth that has been shooting out non-stop. Yeah, and here's other propagations from the propagated plant I propagated for her. So yeah, propagation works. It does. And one thing I love about it, especially with kids, is when they get into plants and you start them off that way, it's very sentimental for them, and it's nice that they get to actually see a plant from its a pup, and watch it grow and develop into this matured, beautiful plant. And they have looked after it themselves from a pup, and obviously with my help. And these plants are very sentimental to them. They're very sentimental to them. And there's a whole lot. I've just shown you a few. I mean, there's a whole lot on the windowsill. I've just shown you a few. But today, I really just want to deal with this. Now, one of the things I think I might do, let me put it here. I'm thinking I might do is, instead of cutting it, I might just take it and let it rest up there and let it trail instead of cutting it. So I'm just gonna use hair step. So there's many things you can do with plants that have grown too tall for where they are sitting. If they've grown too tall for where they're sitting, this is one of the things you can do. You take that plant. So I'm going to hook it up here. I hope you can see. Let's see if you can see. It's so bright. I'm dealing with the sun. I'm dealing with so many things in here. Okay, there we go. I think like this you'll be able to see. Okay. So I'm gonna take it, and firstly I'm gonna hook it on its where it's hanging from. I've got a hook there. Make sure it doesn't fall. The last thing you want is for that to happen. And then I'll have it run across this way, and then I'll have it just rest on this curtain, maybe like that. I don't know. And I think even if I did this, let's see, even if I did this, it's enough. You see, I didn't cut it, but I took it. Interesting. Oop. don't want it to be mixed with these. I think for now, like this, it's fine. It's perfect. I'll show you what I just did if you're not seeing. But yeah, I'm not gonna cut it. I think I'm gonna leave it like this. So that's one of the things you can do. I'm just gonna show you now. Alrighty, that's one of the things you can do. I actually just hooked it where this plant is hanging, and which then shortens the length of the plant, you know. So now it's coming up until here, which is nice. And as it grows long, obviously I'll play around with it in this room to have it go around. And later on, if I decide I want to cut it, then I'll cut it. So that's one of the things that you can do with your trailing plants if they have grown long. So I'm going to go to Jonathan's room because yeah, I've got that happening there too. Let's see what we can do that side. Alrighty, we are in Jay's room. As you can see, the heart-shaped leaf is on the floor, and the English ivy is also on the floor. So I'm going to, with the heart-shaped leaf, honestly, I'm gonna cut it because what I love about it is that I want it to get bushy. So I've been chopping this plant. Every time it reaches this point, I chop it, and it has become so nice and bushy, and I love that. But then with the ivy, I'm okay with the ivy. I'm just gonna do what I've done with Infant's room in here. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna put the camera here and hope you can see what I'm doing, and grab a step. I need a step. So we're gonna take this, which is this one. Some are still fine. It's just this one vine. Okay, it's just this one. And I'm gonna do exactly what I did in Fence's room. I can even hang it here on Jonathan's guitar. He's no longer using this guitar. It's not gonna be an issue of him taking it on and off the whole time. And I love it. I think I love it like that. Yeah, I love it like that. That's exactly what I did. I just let it hang there. And you know, and I've got this. Now let's deal with this. Let's do it like that. We're going to deal with this lovely heart-shaped leaf. Like I said, these ones I love chopping because I want the pot to be full. So I'm going to chop it right here, and maybe even a bit higher, maybe right here, you know, and here. The way I cut, I hope you can see, I'm cutting right beneath the node, and the last one, it's hooking there. Okay, the last one. So that's what I love. That's why I encourage you doing this. If you want your pot to be full, don't hesitate to trim your plants. Trust me, your pot will be full. Now I'm going to propagate these. That's it. I think in this room, that's all. You can see the same. This was the same story. I trimmed this off a few months ago. It was touching the floor and we were stepping on it, but I see it's growing again. I had chopped it fairly, a bit to bring it here, but it's still okay. I don't need to chop it. It's still okay. It's just, the kids, they rub against it and all that, but it's okay. I love it like that. So that's what I've done in this room, and same goes in this room. In my son's room, I've propagated 90% of these plants. The one the few plants that he has bought for himself is this beautiful Ripsilas. I think this is Ripsilas. Please correct me if I'm wrong. He loves this. I've got one of them, and he decided he wants to also buy one himself, and he's doing very well. This is one plant he bought for himself. The rest is propagation. All that is propagation, and this is another plant he bought himself. When it came home, it was this small, and look how much it has grown, and aloe. And yeah, that's one plant he bought for himself, and the rest is propagation. The other plant he bought for himself is this one. I forget the name of it. If you know how to care, if you know the name of this plant, please let me know in the comments down below. And you know how to care for this plant, please tell me, because I've read about it, I've done everything. It's just staying alive. That's what's happening. It's just staying alive, but it's not growing. It's just staying alive. I don't know what we're doing wrong. And I'm glad he's still alive for him, because he really loves this plant. I'm glad he's still alive. So please, if you have any tips, any know-how, you've care tips, please share. So yeah, and this one. This is the other one he bought himself. He loves it. It looks weird. It's a succulent. He loves the weirdness of it. So, yep. And the rest of the plants in here, it's all propagations from the plants I have, which they love. And that ivy, obviously, I bought it for him. Yeah, and that's it. So we're gonna go around. I think the last place I'm going to is my bedroom, and then we're gonna go and propagate these. All right, mine, they're not touching the floor, as you can see, but I usually trim them off before that happens, because I want my pot to be full, like I said. So I always give it a trim before that happens. Just gonna grab my scissors, and then we trim. So that's what I do. I'm just gonna bring it a bit up here. So we're gonna cut right here, like I did with the others. And that's it. Here we go. Alrighty, I am done. Here are my propagations, Philodendron Brazil, and my heart-shaped leaf, Philodendron. And that's it from me today, for today. That's it from me for today. Yeah, that's all I wanted today to do today, to clean up these plants which were on the floor or touching the floor. And yeah, like I said, there's many things you can do. You don't always have to chop them if you don't want to chop them. It's just that with me, I love it. It's very rewarding if you cut your plants or trim your plants. It's very rewarding, because all it's gonna do is make your plant even fuller. But if you don't want to cut your plant like that English ivy, you can just take it and make it, find ways for it to get off the floor and make it trail, or along things in your room. That's what you can do. That's another way to deal with that length. But nonetheless, it's been fun. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, have yourself a beautiful day. Go and trim your plants. Go and propagate.